Welcome back. Well, Senator Josh Hawley wants the articles of impeachment against the president dismissed. Hawley says the Dems have no evidence, he's right, and plans to introduce a measure on Monday to have their articles of impeachment thrown out for a lack of prosecution. I like the approach. Also, a New York Times op-ed claims Republican women, well, are in crisis. The op-ed saying in the past 10 years, they have become an endangered species on the political stage. GOP women at both the national and state levels are on the brink of extinction. It's like you can hear it from National Geographic. According to the RNC, however, 181 Republican women have been recruited to run for Congress in 2020. And nearly 5,000 Republican women have signed up to aid President Trump's re-election effort. Joining me now, Patrice Onwuka, senior policy analyst at the Independent Women's Forum. Patrice, thanks for being here this evening.
Thanks, Pete.
So are you about to be extinct? And what would lead someone to write such a thing about women in America who are Republicans and support this president?
Well, Pete, I am not about to be extinct, and a lot of my friends and followers who are conservative women, dismiss this kind of op-ed as frankly progressive privilege. This is a way of demeaning conservative women, females' voices, belittling the work that we do, and trying to silence us by making it seem that we have no impact whatsoever in the political realm. And it's insulting because this article, in essence, suggests that we, as conservative women, we haven't made any gains, we've only made losses, and it ignores that in 2018 we saw some tremendous firsts for women. I mean, look at Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn, first female governor of her state. Kristi Noem, first female governor in South Dakota. Boy, Kim Reynolds, first female governor in Iowa. These are all, Republican women. So to say that suddenly all Republican women are disappearing, I think is just a way of trying to belittle the accomplishments that have been made. Now, that's not to say that we don't want to see conservative women continue to run for office, but when they get this backlash in the media, why would you want to open yourself up?
Well, of course, and the op-ed actually starts with Sarah Palin, who was probably the most mistreated Republican woman of in any number of years, because she didn't vote or think the way the leftists thought. She wasn't an acceptable woman. It also criticized Sarah Palin for endorsing some men later on, when last time I checked, women get to think independently about their ideas, whether it's a man or a woman. So this is just the New York Times playing their typical leftist feminist view, where you are not acceptable because you don't think like them.
Well, and add to that I'm a black woman and an immigrant, a naturalized citizen.
That's a double offense.
Oh, boy, am I. Yes, I've been kicked out of every family picnic you can find. But it's insulting. And, women care about more than just their bodies. And their politics are not just about abortion rights. Women care about the economy. They are business owners. They are workers. They want to see their wages rise. They also care about health care. They also care about immigration. And they want to ensure that their communities are safe. So they care about public safety. And hey, we also care about foreign policy as well. And so all of these factors come into play when a woman goes into the voting booth, and she doesn't just vote based on what someone else tells her to do.
Yeah, speaking of foreign policy, the guy who's got everything wrong in the last 40 years on it had comments about why Hillary Clinton lost. And, well, take a listen.
One of the things that happened, and it wasn't a bad thing, and I think there was a lot of sexism that helped defeat Hillary. I did 84 major events for Hillary Clinton. I went all over the country where nobody campaigned for her more than I did. But she would have been a great president.
So Sleepy Joe says it was sexism is the reason why Hillary lost.
No, Hillary Clinton is the reason why she lost. He probably visited more states, flyover states, than she did, and maybe that has a reason to do with why she was disconnected with many voters who simply felt that she wasn't connecting. She called half of American voters a basket of deplorables, xenophobic, racist, sexist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, to make that excuse, I think, is really an excuse for why she was not a good candidate. And Joe Biden, if he's going to make that argument, I hope he's not going to fall back and find himself in the same position she did the night after the election.
He's still wandering around the stage, whispering, trying to find what position he's supposed to hold. I want to get to it briefly, though. Senator Hawley, we teased it, so I want to get to it. He said the articles should just be thrown out. They shouldn't even be considered in the Senate. What do you think?
It's interesting because when a prosecutor brings charges against someone, they have to be prosecuted. Otherwise, they do eventually get dismissed. And so I think it's an interesting approach to say, hey, if you're not going to actually bring a trial in the Senate by turning over those articles of impeachment, then maybe these charges need to be dismissed, and this whole impeachment inquiry and everything else is just a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch McConnell said you can't hold something hostage that I don't want. And this would be yet another demonstration of that. Patrice Onwuka, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pete.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good night.
All right, stay with us.